What's going on, boys and girls? I was not going to do a video on this one, to be honest. I thought the game against West Ham was a really professional, champion-like performance with not a lot of kind of talking points to it. But in saying that, with the international break ahead of us and probably not much coming from me in the next week or so due to that, I thought, yeah, I'll get on here, share my thoughts on what I thought of the game, talk a little bit about where I think we're placed for the season moving forward, and just kind of dive into it in that sense. So, first thing I'd like to say is I was really happy with the starting 11. It was brilliant to see Mikel go with both Eze and Odegaard in that first 11. For me personally, when we're playing teams like West Ham this season, who are going to come sit in a real low block, defend their asses off, allow us to have probably 70-80% of the ball, I really don't see the need for a midfield of Rice and Zubimendi. So I was really happy with that kind of Eze and Odegaard combination. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a lot of it due to Odegaard having to go off injured once again with what was another kind of weird, unlucky type of knock, which I'm really hoping isn't a long-term injury for him, because I do really think he was starting to kind of find some of that old Odegaard form that we've been so kind of lucky to witness over the years. But yeah, I think Arteta mentioned that he left the stadium with a knee brace on, which is not a great sign. And I know there's been some reports coming out today that he has done some sort of kind of medial ligament damage, but no one's really kind of confirmed as to how long he'll be out for. So yeah, I just hope for him that it's not a long-term injury, because I thought he was, I think he's starting to kind of show some signs and some promise of finding his form back, particularly in these last three games. The good thing this season compared to previous seasons is we finally have real squad depth. We finally have really high quality level of players sitting on that bench ready to come on when a chance presents, whether that through injury or bad form. So unlike the last few seasons where if we would have lost Odegaard, which has happened to us, the fan base goes into meltdown. We can't cope with the loss of a player of Odegaard or Saka. I think this season we've already proven that we are able to kind of cope with players stepping out for whatever reason for periods of time. Obviously, as the season goes forward, I really don't want to see us suffer ongoing with injuries to key players, because I think if you're going to win this Premier League, given how long and demanding it is, you want to try and have your best players available for as long as possible throughout the season. So, yeah, fingers crossed we can kind of get this unlucky injury situation under control after the international break, and kind of have a full squad to pick from, because I think when we've got a full squad, there's a real set of problems there for Arteta. Good problems in terms of who he picks. I thought Odegaard started well again. He was kind of hanging in that right pocket. He was feeding some really nice balls through. He got one through to Timber, which led to a parried shot away. He got one through to Saka, who kind of crossed it in. Gyökeres made a bit of a meal of it, got dragged down. Eze missed from, 2 meters out. How he missed that, I've got no idea. But it was just a really good start again. Another game where we were on the front foot, trying to create, looking to cause problems, and I was encouraged by it. Rice obviously got the first goal. Really nice to see him get that goal, particularly with the way the West Ham fans seem to want to treat him these days. I really don't understand that, if I'm being honest. I get that he's left the club and, he's gone to a London rival, but at the end of the day, he was your captain. He won you a European trophy. He was super respectful in the way he went about leaving West Ham. So it was nice to see Rice kind of stick that in the back of the net and kind of give that little stare down to the West Ham end. So that was nice. Calafiori hit the post with a really clean shot, which could have gone anywhere. And yeah, it was just a really solid first half. That flowed into the second half. Zubi kind of picked up from where Odegaard left off, and I just thought it was a really solid job. And obviously we got the penalty, Timber going down. I was surprised to see Saka step up and take it, but I must admit, on looking back at it now, as far as I'm aware, Saka is still the first choice penalty taker at Arsenal when he's on the field. So I know there's been a bit of talk online around the fact that he should have let Gyökeres take it, and Gyökeres needs the goals and all this kind of thing. But I think at the end of the day, Saka's the captain. If he's the penalty taker, then he's going to take the penalty, and I like that. I think Gyökeres has got plenty of time to score goals. I don't think he's the type of striker that's going to be concerned about not scoring goals in a few games now. Look, I won't lie. I would have liked to have seen Gyökeres get a few more goals by this point. I don't think we're playing yet to kind of suit the way he plays. I don't think we're creating enough chances for him, which is somewhat concerning, but I'm also, it's 7 games in. I think we'll figure it out. But the only thing I would say with Gyökeres at the moment is, for me, when he gets the ball and he's got an opportunity to kind of create something out of nothing, I'm not seeing enough from him that kind of fills me with real confidence, in the sense that, I don't know, when he gets the ball at his feet and he's got the opportunity to do something with it, I feel like a lot of the times he looks a bit clumsy, a bit clunky, and ultimately kind of ends up falling over, getting barged off, or just kind of giving the ball away, or just nothing comes of it. So moving forward, obviously, apart from obviously banging in some goals, it would be nice to see him just look a little bit more dangerous on the ball. I think his hold-up play's improved. I think his link-up play's improved. He works his ass off, which is great. But yeah, I just think on the ball, it'd be nice to see a little bit more from him going forward. And of course, goals. Obviously, we end up winning the match 2-0, another clean sheet. Again, I know people online have been talking about we need to be more clinical, we need to score more goals. Look, I would love nothing more than 5-0 victories every week, but I just don't think that's how it works, particularly in the Premier League. And so for me, I love the fact that at the moment we're able to kind of get through games without really having to get out of second gear, and we're kind of doing it whereby where players aren't playing, they're not playing full speed, they're not killing themselves to get, these last minute winners. We're able to bring players off the bench and give other players minutes. And so I'm just feeling ultimately really good about where we're sitting right now and where we're positioned. I think obviously Liverpool have had 2 blips. They've had, 2 last minute heartbreaks, which has been beautiful to watch. I do think they're going through a bit of a blip. I do think they'll find their form again and be the main challengers to us in this Premier League title race. I just think they've got too many good players, and I just don't see how they don't drive us all the way to the end. You never know. I could be wrong. This might be more than a blip, but I just think there's too much quality there for them not to figure it out quickly. So look, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more. If you would have asked me last week going into that last weekend's round of fixtures where Liverpool were going into an away match against Crystal Palace, whereby you kind of thought they were going to find a way to win that, which meant that we were going to be going into that away game against Newcastle with the prospect of, if we had have lost that, we would have been 8 points behind Liverpool. So to think that, fast forward 7 days, we're now going into the next international break with a 1-point lead. I mean, you couldn't be happier if you're an Arsenal fan right now. So, I just think for me, I've got this air of confidence about the team this season. Obviously, last season didn't go the way we wanted it to go. It was nowhere near what we thought it was going to be. There was a lot of expectation on it. But I do think a lot of that came down to, I don't think the club gave Arteta what he needed from a resources point of view in terms of squad depth, like what we've got now. And I think we were also very unlucky with injuries. So ultimately, I just don't think that was going to be an option for us last season to win the Premier League. Whereas this season, I really believe we've got the squad to do it. And I think we've been in enough title races now to know what's required. And so I think as long as everyone stays calm, we stay relatively injury-free, and we can just kind of get about our business, I really am quietly confident that we can maybe get it over the line this season. The Champions League is another story, because it's a cup competition. I think there's a lot of luck that goes into it, but I am starting to feel quite confident that the Premier League could finally happen for us this season, which would be just huge. So yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts. International break now, so I'll probably be quiet for a little bit, but I hope you'll have a great week ahead, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.